What is up, guys? Koga here again, this time with a very late build for 3.15. It is, in fact, my league starter, and the magical skill is Storm Rain, which is probably not exciting for a lot of you, and for good reason, because a lot of builds, or a lot of people, streamers included, have tried to skill out and basically said it's not really worth it. So I'm here to give you my take on this, because it was my league starter, and it was, as the league starter, very, very good. So, what is Storm Rain? Let's get into this very, very quickly on its mechanics on how this thing works. So, Storm Rain is a Nova skill, basically like Toxic Rain and Blast Rain. You can see rain as the key word here, where it shoots arrows into the sky and they fall down to the floor. Once they're on the floor, they basically start chaining little beams against each other, and they have a beam frequency, which basically dictates how fast those little beams come out. And on top of that, there's a limit of 100 arrows that can be on the floor, and I believe only 4 beams could happen per arrow, and since the beams kind of hit another arrow, it's kind of really hard to dictate the math here, but you can at least say if 4 beams happen, either like 4 to 8 freaking arrows have probably dissipated by then. And we can scale this even further by using the helmet enchant. It gives you beam frequency, and the anomalous alternate quality Storm Rain, which gives you another 10% beam frequency, for a total of 50% beam frequency. With this much beam frequency, I don't know, you can take a shot every time I say that. The skill has a beam frequency of every 0.27 seconds where it shoots little beams, right? So basically, the whole point of the skill base is just get as much attack speed as possible and shoot as many arrows into the sky as possible to hit that 100 cap limit, and, you know, shoot out an insane amount of beams. And the way that I did this was, of course, scaling beam frequency using the helmet enchant and the alternate quality, like I said before, and also using Focused Ballista, the new support gem, which gives Ballista totems an insane amount of attack speed, and they also attack when you attack. So basically, when I attack, you're gonna see a crazy amount of arrows going to the top of the sky and then fall down and shoot a bunch of beams on the floor. Not great for visibility, but it is pretty satisfying when you actually get some pretty good DPS off, right? And this is very good because Ballista totems are incredibly slow without the support gem, and the support gem really is the magical thing Ballista's really needed in order to be pretty good. Now, needless to say though, I believe, I'm not 100% sure on this, but I believe the 100 arrow limit is a global limit, meaning your Ballista totem and you combined whatever arrows you guys shoot out in total together cannot pass 100. You know, the totems cannot have 100 themselves, and then you have 100 for a total of 200. That cannot be possible, I believe. But since we have so much beam frequency, it is very unlikely that we'll ever pretty much get close to 100. If it is, those arrows are dropping off real freaking quick, because with a 0.7 beam frequency, in 1 second, a bunch of arrows already disappeared, right? So that's pretty much the gist of that. And what's good about Storm Rain is basically its hit frequency, so we can use things like Surgeon's Flask. That gives you a 20% chance to get a charge back when you crit, to get insane, basically, blast recovery rate. Very, very good. I highly recommend it. I put that on almost everything, including my Quicksilver. On top of that, you can use the Vitality Watcher's Eye for live gain on hit, or any other live gain on hit you can find yourself. But the Vitality is the easiest one, because you only have to use a level 1 Vitality Aura. It is a bit expensive though, but if you do it, you get an insane amount of instant leech, which helps you sustain in fights a very, very long time. Now, in points, the DPS early on was very good, but it does drop off significantly by the time I hit, you know, a late game. But I did kill Awakener 7 and all the bosses around that time, and it was okay. It did struggle a bit because of the ramp nature of Storm Rain, keeping a bunch of arrows on the floor. And if they move from that location, the damage dissipates. So things like Shaper, who teleports a lot, or Cyrus, who teleports a lot, can get very annoying. Those fights are really annoying. But for other bosses, it was pretty much, you know, a walk in the park. Tier 16 is pretty easily and things like that. So I do want to recommend this to you guys as a viable league starter, because I took it from 0 to where it is now with basically mediocre ass gear and just some cheap uniques. Now, I'm gonna show you some boss clips of how it was, because I decided to use a Chin Soul, which I know people don't like using because of the knockback, but it ain't that bad, honestly. And the reason I want to use this is because the DPS with the Chin Soul was basically, in my opinion, not even like there's no difference between the Chin Soul versus a 400 plus PDPS bow that I crafted with good attack speed and crit chance, and that's significantly more expensive, and it was just such a pain in the butt to craft. I say, like, if you want a good bow, only buy it over a Chin Soul if you hate the knockback at close range. But mostly end-game bosses, like Shaper, Guardian, things like that, are immune to knockback, so it really ruins the purpose of that, in my opinion. and Chinsul on like 2 or 3C, maybe like 10C if you get a good roll. So for that purpose, if you're really looking for a budget, Chinsul is very, very hard to beat. Now, needless to say, let's go right into, you know, a very short build guide and probably a quick map, because as a league starter, it filled its purpose, and that's kind of what I'm giving it to you as an end game build. You'll probably find better, but if you really want to give Stormrain a shot, you can try knock it out and see what the best you can do with some crazy ass gear. So let's get right into it. Now, before we move on, if you guys, you know, enjoyed the video and want to support me and the future of this YouTube channel with the YouTube algorithm, then please, you know, for my favor, leave a like on the video and or subscribe to the channel, and I'll thank you very much. On top of that, I still stream on Twitch every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, working on many builds. I have 2 in the pipeline right now, 2 very good builds and 1 incredibly fucking amazing build that I just finished that blew me away. But we'll get to that when we get to that. Basically, it feels like it wasn't even nerfed by 3.15 at all. It was insane. In terms of DPS and clear and everything, it was really, really good. But besides that, I'm side dragging a little bit. If you guys want to join the Discord, you know, you can join down, head the link below, and, you know, ask any questions you guys have there, and I'll answer them as soon as I possibly can, because I'm very busy these days. And also, any YouTube comments, questions, I'll try my best to answer them as per usual. And with that, let's move into the build guide. Hopefully short. Now, welcome back, guys, into the detailed version of the build guide. This character is called Stormrain Spam for obvious reasons. We have our little totems here. You can put 5 of them down. You can see you place them pretty freaking quickly, and then you shoot, and now you have
my mana is gone.
Insane amount of spamming of Stormrain on the floor. That's pretty much the gist of the build. You know, stack as many arrows as fast as possible. So without further ado, let's go into the skill tree. You can see here, this is the POB. On the bottom left, we have 4 trees, level 40, level 72, which is mid-game. There's a level 90 without the lionized jewel, which is very cheap these days, like 29, 30C. And, you know, an end game with the jewel. Let's go right into it real quick. At level 40, really the gist of it is you want to go for your, like, big nodes of damage, your big power-ups, which is basically point blank. So we kind of want to rush that. There's life along the way. And early sources of evasion do, you know, help a lot. Not really that big of a deal, but I like picking a defense early because it just feels nice. So you have Wind Dancer here, more life there, more life here, and you do get phase acrobatics. Then we start going for the early bow nodes, you know, here and here for crit. And this node is actually very nice, and I picked it up for increased movement speed, like 8% movement speed. It gives you a bit of attack speed if you use the movement skill recently, which our movement skill is going to be, you know, you can see your dash. And what's cool is it gives you 20% increased cooldown recovery rate of, well, 30% actually, of dash. And what's up happening is that we have dash and we have blink arrow, and when you link both into the skill to second wind, you use them both twice, and they have their own separate cooldown, which means you can dash blink arrow, dash blink arrow, and it makes clear speed really, really nice, especially once you have, you know, along with your little one link swap for lightning arrow, and you're kind of zooming very, very good in terms of clear speed, right? And on top of that, we do have gathering winds as their first ascendancy, just for the sake of movement speed. That's pretty much it. You know, action speed is attack speed, totem placement speed, movement speed, any speed really, cast speed, all speeds basically. Anything's to speed, I get skilled by that, which is very, very good. 72 is mid-game tree. Here we pick up other things, right? We go here for more life, get the accuracy nodes and the damage, get more life. Here we will start going for element avoidance, so crystal skin, a little bit of max res as well. We get element avoidance there, a little bit here, right? And we do pick up 18% on your boots. Now, I don't know why GGG wants to be a scumbag, but all those 3 combined leaves you at a whopping 98% chance of avoiding chill and freeze. And be 100. No, not allowed. 100? Not possible. Undetected. 98%. Take it or leave it, I guess. I am not wasting another slot for 2%, you know, freeze immunity. If you get chilled or frozen with 2% fucking avoidance left over, I'm sorry. Call up the GGG headquarters, bro. I tried my best. All right. That's a waste. Inefficiency, basically. But if you do want the rest of it, you have to get it from an Abyssal Jewel, and that's kind of a waste of damage in my opinion. So, but 98% for the most part has been very, very good, I guess, consistent. But, you know, that 2% chance kind of looms in the air, so be wary of that, right? But, you know, we did our best. So we got element avoidance, and that pretty much covers that. And then, right, at level, at the end game tree, we did pick up this little shock node. So we are 98% chance avoidance of chill, freeze, and shock, and 78 for ignite. And since we're so much invested into evasion, phase acro, wind dancer, and we do have blind from an abyssal jewel, so basically you know, we have like an insane amount of dodge and evading chance. We really don't get stunned often, so stun immunity is not really needed either. And that's pretty much the gist of that. And then we move up here, get more life, more movement speed, accuracy, life, and, you know, elements of damage and current multi. And then at level 90 with the jewel, we basically pick up the Watcher's Eye, the jewel over here, and then you put the Line Eyes Fall here, and it turns all these claw nodes into bone nodes, and they're really good because they're really great sources of crit chance and crit multi, and it gives you your source of blind. Actually, we don't have blind from the Abyssal Jewel. I forget. We get blind from this one node. So yeah, when we go into the tree without the jewel, I recommend you get blind from an Abyssal Jewel until you get, you know, your Line Eyes Fall, if whatever reason it ends up being expensive, you know. And then the reason why it's so good is because Soul Raker is an insane amount of leech. It gives you a life leech and mana leech, but most important, it gives you a 50% increased total recovery per second from life leech. So the speed that it recovers at is increased by 50%, and it's fucking massive in terms of how you feel it. Now, it really isn't that important because we do have the Watcher's Eye with life gain on hit, and when you're hitting so often, it's a pretty big deal. But it is insane. Like, this is very expensive, so most likely a lot of you guys won't have this early on. This will cover you plenty until you get that, so I highly recommend it. But until that, if you don't have that, then what you do is, you know, take all that out. You have to make up your crit, unfortunately, with King of the Hill, which is kind of annoying for knockback, but it is what it is, right? We get March for the Prey, which is increased damage taken, because we do have Assassin's Mark on a ring. It's very easy to craft. I'll go over that over the gear session. But basically, they always are marked near an enemy, and that's why we also take, what is it? A focal point, but I'll explain that in a little bit. And on top of that, we get Foresight for the accuracy that we missed. And where is the... I think that's it, right? So yeah, we have King of the Hill, Marked for Death, and we take this little note here. And then for Leech, we pick up this one note. And that should pretty much cover you for the most part. And that's pretty much the non-jewel. It's a bit more damage, but it's not worth what you lost in, you know, recoverability and phasing and things like that. Now, let me explain the Ascendancy, right? So early game was... early game was Gathering Winds only. At mid game, you want to pick up Ricochet only for the sake of clear speed, which is just Lightning Arrow, right? And for the sake of both clear and DPS, Endless Munition goes a long way of stacking a lot of arrows for Storm Rain. The 2 additional projectiles is quite insane. Now, being that at endgame, you have the option really of going for Wind Ward, which is basically like a buffed up Wind Dancer. I'm not too big of a fan of it, because I do like Focal Point. And Focal Point basically gives infected marks. And why marks are so good is because they're not lowered in effectiveness in comparison to bosses. Because if you look into here, I believe, yeah, see, they have less effect of hexes. Marks and hexes are both curses, but hexes is not a mark. Basically meaning that Assassin's Mark, which gives you like 1.5 base crit and crit multi against a boss, it is not nerfed. So 1.5 times 75, you look here, 1.5 times 0.75. Well, and 1.25, 1.5 times 1.75. That's 2.6 base crit, which is absolutely massive for your crit chance. And this node is freaking insane. And for whatever reason, it's not being calculated here. And we do have Mark being enabled. Weird. Enough. I don't know. But yes, it's insane in terms of the amount of crit that it gives you. And also it gives 25% less damage taken from other enemies near your marked enemy. And they also are not removed. So what this kind of means is, like, let's say you kill a rare, all the monsters on that around that rare will do less damage to you, which is really good for defense. And since you have Assassin's Mark on, or trigger on hit against a rare unique enemy, this is very good. And it's also really good for when you're fighting multiple bosses, because if one boss dies with the mark, it will, you know, debuff all the other bosses. So I really like Focal Point in terms of DPS and defenses. It's very, very good. Highly recommend it. But you do need an Assassin's Mark ring. And it's really easy, bro. Just get like an eye level 75 or higher Shaper ring. And what you want to do is just reforge Caster on it with Harvest, and you'll get it eventually. And you'll hope it gets like whatever stats you need at DD Life. And if you don't have Life, you craft Life, right? Things like that. And if not, you buy one. And that's pretty much the sake of that Ascendancy, right? Now for your Bandit, get Alira for crit multi and res and mana region. And for your Pantheon, you really want, I believe, Arakali. Yeah, Arakali and Shikari, which is what I always go for, because poison is a fucking bitch. Right, and that pretty much is the skill tree. As for gear, you want to go Chin Soul, or you get a bow like this. And that's very hard to do. This bow is literally like what, 400 PDPS with 1.4, and that's without attack speed modifiers, right? With, I have 8.5 crit. Let's say 7.5 for the sake of it. And you can see, what the fuck? Really? Are you shitting me? That is so expensive. And literally, like, in the video, you won't even tell the difference between this bow and this bow. And that's my problem, right? It's so stupid. Is it really that much money, bro? Am I rich? I haven't sold the damn thing. I might just sell it. But I could, like, add more attack speed to this and it'd be even better. And if I AUG speed, it's guaranteed to be attack speed, but you get the gist. That's pretty much this. If anything, it'd probably be better for me to AUG speed and then craft crit chance with quality. Probably. I might just finish this bow. Who knows? But yeah, you can see my point there. That's not really worth it. But here we have Storm Rain. It can be the anomalous one again. I didn't go for it because I was being cheap. Focus Ballista, lesser multiple projectiles, Ballista totems, and multiple totems. So you can summon a bunch of them at the same time. And that's pretty much how you stack a bunch of them. And I really wanted a 6-link for this, but I didn't have a place for my ensnaring. But ensnaring is really good because you can stack it, you know, a few times. And since you have Deadeye, you know, you're not going to miss. Those 2 additional projectiles help you hit a lot of things. Because otherwise, it'd be 1 projectile would be really annoying. But basically, they take increased damage, right? 20% increased damage from attack hits, which is very, very good. Your helmet, you want accuracy, life, res, pretty much the gist of that. Life tap, second wind, dash, and blink arrow. That way, you can dash as much as you want without affecting your mana pool at all. Pretty much the gist there. And into your glove, you want attack speed, life, res, and I needed int, so I crafted int. But you can also get things like fizz damage or elemental damage, and especially attack speed. You can go for attack speed, would be really, really good. I mean, not attack speed, yeah, actually, accuracy, excuse me. You can go for accuracy if you need it, but I didn't really need it. Here we have Arcanist Brand, Wave of Conviction, Hydrosphere, and Combustion. Now, the point of this is a debuff. Since we use all 3 elements, you know, Wave gives us the fire, yeah, I believe fire, minus 15% of res of fire. Hydro is lightning and cold, whichever one it procs. Honestly, probably back and forth. And it's an additional minus 10 fire since our damage is triple. Very weird, I know, but it is the way it is. The way this works is because we have Inspiration, Trinity, which gives us 16% pen if you have at least 25 resonance. I'm not going to explain this pretty much too much, but when you're... I'll explain the map a bit, I guess. When you attack, you see this little bar here, and as long as you hit with 2 different elements that damage types, right? If sometimes the highest damage type swaps, for example, let's say if I hit with fire and lightning, right? Those are my 2 damage types. Let's say sometimes my highest damage of that one hit is fire and sometimes it's lightning. That's good because they'll scale off both resonance. And if you have at least like 50, you basically get way more damage and you get the penetration of 60% pen, which is really good. In this case, we have all 3, and the way you know it's working is because you see here it says fire 700 to 1800, and then the other one's like 500 to 1000, the other one's 300 to 1000 for lightning damage. As long as there's a point in the middle where one can be higher, like for example, the lowest fire is 700, but the highest cold is 1000. That means cold sometimes will be higher than fire. Same thing with lightning, and especially if I pop my, you know, Taste of Hate. Now my cold, fire, everything went up. There's a portion in the middle where one element can be higher than the other due to the RNG of the range of the damage, if you get what I'm trying to say. So as long as you have a point, you know, far enough where they overlap, good. You're doing your good job. Elemental damage, attack skills, and then you have LMP, and then Anomalous Storm Rain, and then the Shroud of Lightless itself has the elemental penetration level 25 because we're all 3 elements, so it helps out a lot. Otherwise, you can just use the elemental penetration gem yourself at its lower level, or just use like sword projectiles or whatever else you want to use for damage. It pretty much will work, right? There's also like physical attack projectile, but it's not really worth it in my opinion. It lowers your attack speed a little bit too much for that sake. And then gloves, boots, you want life, res, prefix, and have an open suffix so you can craft avoid to elemental elements. Shouldn't be too expensive. I think these days like 30 to 40 cities, something like that. Right. Quiver, signal fire, you basically want to get this quiver, which is a good leveling bow. Black gleam. You're going to be using it, and then at what, 2 more levels later, you can upgrade it to signal fire for a lot more damage. And it's a very, very good bow, and it should basically help you get your Trinity right off the get-go once you get it, right? If you're crazy, you can corrupt it for additional arrow. but that's if you have the money. Not sure if it's worthwhile for you. Your belt, life, res, open prefix, craft, wed. Pretty much the gist of that. And oh yeah, I forgot the boots. Boots, we have our auras, which is hatred, air device, level 1 vitality, and precision level 5. Level precision up to whatever point you need that you can still, cast your arrows and your totems, by the way, and have enough accuracy to be at 100% accuracy right here. Right, that's pretty much the gist of that. And for your eye jewels, you basically want life and accuracy, whatever you see fit. And I added lightning just to get the lightning damage higher because it was kind of falling behind a bit in order to proc Trinity more easily. If this doesn't bother you, you can just get attack speed if you dealt a critical strike recently, global crit multi, his damage to attacks, things like that. And I believe, do I have another jewel? Yeah, same thing here. I got life. I also got mana gained on hit just to sustain mana a little bit more easier since we hit more often. You can probably follow suit, helps a lot. With crit multi, if his damage of bows, attack speed. Ideally crit multi though, that's kind of what you want. I believe that's my only jewel, right? Yeah. Other than the Watcher's Eye with Vitality, which I already mentioned. Right. And as for your rings, you want Assassin's Mark ring with life. I don't think you need the dexterity. It's for another build that I got this for. But basically life, Assassin's Mark, maybe Int if you can pick it up. And ideally an open prefix just for the minus mana cost to help a bit with the Storm Rain spam and the Storm Rain totems. And that'd be ideal. Now Mark of the Elder is insane, because since we're using a Shaper Ring, Mark of the Elder gives you, with the Catalyst, a whopping 90%, I think 91 or 2 is the highest, attack damage with good life. This one needs to be a little bit divine, but whatever. And it has a really good implicit for, his damage to attacks. And it gives you cold damage to attacks too, which is really good. So this ring is absolutely insane for things like that, and I highly recommend it. And for your Ami, you want, whatever attributes you need. Fizz damage, crit multi, and then life. And, I got as much int as possible here. And I anointed March for Death, which gives you Culling Strike, which is really good, and increased damage. It's actually it's so good for, like, killing bosses, especially with pretty low DPS in terms of endgame. But that pretty much covers the gear. So let's go into a very quick map to showcase you guys. All right, so the map that we're running right now, it is a tier 15 burial chambers. We have, like, reflect doesn't really matter to us. I got shrines, a little bit poison, extra damage as lightning. The tier 15, right? Nothing crazy. And I added, I believe it was the breach, and I added the shrines and elder monsters you can see here. Now the issue I have with this, I'm gonna showcase real quick, is that lightning arrow is good for clear, amazing for clear really, but it's really annoying for single targets. What we do is you put the totems down in order to make up a little bit of single target. Sometimes though, it's just not that great. So Storm Rain, albeit slower, does help with that sort of situation, so you can play around with it. But lightning arrow I feel is just way better for clear, and that's why I do swap it out. Here, it's pretty good for these type of things. The downside is, since we're using Chin Soul, see this tanky little right here, the damage does drop off a lot. Whoa. When you hear them from afar, where a rare bull, that wouldn't really happen. That's where the rare bull comes in handy, I would feel, in terms of consistency. But again, you saw the prices before, it's just abysmally high. Whoa. Chill, boy, chill. But again, this is the League Start build, so I wouldn't run it, like,
it's time.
I wouldn't really push it to juice maps without, like, a bit more investment into damage. But just to showcase it to you a little bit, that it is possible. This is what I mean by single target. It's okay, but nothing crazy.
I'm not up to that just yet.
The totems do go a long way in helping you out there. Doors over here. So as a raider, I try to stay, close enough for damage, but not so close that you want to get fucking slapped in the face by whatever's gonna try to kill you. Whoa. Well, you even got Redeemer mods in this, so it's not too bad. Grab that. Oh. So yeah, if you want more DPS, get into melee range, because you're a point blank, DPS, like most builds are these days, right? Alright. Nice base type there. Whoa, what was that? So as an evade build, you do get, you know, you have your occasional one-shots. It is what it is. If you're an evasion build, no real mitigation other than just dodging shit and wind dancer. Put my totems down to help me out a bit. But, you know, as long as you stay away from allies that have substantial extra fist damage, rares, dude, like, I think you're okay. Those are the only motherfuckers that will one-shot any fucking build no matter what you do. And we can leave this already. Huh? And so you do have cold, porcupines are not an issue, especially since they're evasion. You have to worry about them one bit. Yep. And maybe a little bit if somehow they hit you. We'll cut to the next version. Right, we are back again. Hopefully this time not with death. You know, evasion character, what are you gonna do about it, right? That is what it is. It is what it is. What the allies do substantial fist damage? What is that? Jesus. Gotta love when you get nuked from afar. I already did one of them. I'm not gonna do the other one. Speed it up a bit. Expeditions, you really just want to prelay your storm rain. Maybe want to swap for single target if you want. Probably all about a bit. But that takes way too much time. I'm not gonna bother. Where's that Legion again?
I'm not up to that just yet. Just in time.
Oh. There we go. You can see, for clear, it's pretty good. Honestly, makes you wonder, like, if you're like a headhunter type of person, lightning arrow is pretty fucking good. Here's where you get the fuck back. And hopefully not take it in the ass. Mama mia. Alright, we're alive, we're healthy, we're good, we're good. I got a rare in my ass. Going at Mach 2 speed. He's good, man.
Just in time.
Whoa. Please chill. Alright, we're alive. This is good.
Just in time.
Yeah, as long as that, well, that's powerful crits, but as long as they have like no allies do extra damage, yeah, I think you're good. Alright. And then for single target, which I beat for this boss, not gonna be the best, but we'll try anyway. Swap skill ring. You're gonna need this shit. As you can see here, it does help out a lot. And then get up close, Arcanist Brand, Ensnaring Arrow, and then go ham. Oh, the corners are not great. Get her out of the corner. Get her out of the corner. Oh, she's gonna move out of the corner. There we go. I try to do like totems on one side and I'm on the other. That way, like, you know, she goes like stays in the middle a bit with a knockback. Man, this boss is really annoying. The Culling Strike should hit. There we go. As you can see, sustain's pretty good with life gain on hit and things like that. But yeah, let's move into some little leveling tips that I forgot to mention and then one that there. See you guys in a bit. Now, very quickly for leveling, I highly recommend that you use basically I don't have a tabula, but a tabula rasa. For your quiver, you're going to be using obviously your Black Gleam until you upgrade 2 levels later into Signifier with Fire and Brimstone Prophecy. Right, for your bow, you can use basically Stormcloud into a Ross Reach, into a Death's Harp, into your Death's Opus. Use that all the way to endgame, and then use your Shin Soul. You can try using Death's Opus, but I don't think the 2 additional arrows will make up the damage at all. Letting you mention that. Of course, your boots, you want to use, you know, either your 7-link steps or your Wanderlusts. Helmet, obviously the gold rim god tier item, and amulets, you're going to use career reward for basically the majority all the way into endgame. And for your belts, Worm's Most, you need stats presumably for damage, and then probably there is Belt's Deceiver for even more stuff. But that's pretty much those 3. Nothing too crazy. You can figure it out there until you get your, you know, life res belt with some sort of damage, either Ascension Visor or Rustic Sash, right? And yeah, guys, that pretty much ends a little mini build guide. I try to make it as short as I can because I don't want to make it too crazy. His build's not mind fucking blowing in terms of how it performed, but as the league starter, it was pretty good, and it took me the way that up to where I needed to do to farm currency and start the next build anyway. So yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. On to the next one. The next 2 build guides are going to be fantastic. So I hope you guys look out for that. And yeah, if you guys, catch you guys in the next informative build for build guide. See you later.